Okay, so you guys all know that we've had several times when I've asked what you would do, and we've got all kinds of good advice, and I've taken some, and some of it I don't take, and you know how that is. So I thought I'd start out with this road to nowhere, and you can see on the picture on the left that it's doesn't go anywhere. It goes to the tracks and stops, and it's made out of plaster. There isn't really any uh, weathering to it. It's just plain light gray. So we move over to the next picture, and you see that I put in some wood around the rails. I kind of like balsa. On some of these, I make the width narrower than this. I remember right, I made these 1 scale foot wide, 8 scale foot long. And then of course they'll stick up a little bit above the rail. So I just take a razor blade and just shave them off. So what does other people do for making crossings? Rich, how about you?
Oh, I do the same thing, but rather than using a razor blade to shave the wood, I just take a sanding block and just sand it down so it's even. And then restain it.
Yeah. Well,
And
you
then
can see,
then I just hope that the county doesn't come and the Manitowoc County road people don't come and object to what I did.
well, you can see on the one to the right where I've got just the wood on the edge, nothing in the middle of the track.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Now, Ron, do you put those first pieces in before you do the plaster?
Sometimes yes, and sometimes no. Most of the time, I do things backwards, and I probably put the plaster in, and then I leave a gap, and then after I get the wood all in, I finish it off, putting the
Okay.
plaster, filling it back in again.
Okay.
I don't know if you can just see. Can you see the little my little mouse here, or whatever you want to call
Yes.
this?
Yeah.
See, there's a quite a little dip here in the plaster here.
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure what these things are anymore. I don't know. This is kind of interesting. It isn't very clear, straight either. So we'll take a look at what the next picture looks like. Okay. So on the left, you see it without any fill-in for the shoulder. But I've straightened up a little bit of it, so it looks a little different than it did before. And of course, roads, if you drive on them, they're not always all that good either. So on the right, I'm done. I've added some more grass and put in some yellow in for some goldenrod. And I did that special for you, Doug, because I know you like goldenrod.
Oh, yeah. Makes me sneeze like crazy.
That's good for you.
Yes. So,
And if you notice, there's even a crossbuck sign down there.
Mhm.
yeah.
And to the right, I put a stop sign in. And that's probably more than I do with a lot of other things. But the other thing, because whoops, what's going on here? Sorry about that. This is the stops I have so that the cars don't run off the railroad. I find that if I don't have stops, where every once in a while I hear bang, bang, bang
Ooh.
as things get broken.
Yeah. Not good. Not good. So,
I should have taken a picture of this big tank. The Pelican Ford actually had a big sign on it like that, which dealt with their other products they had. Okay, so then we move over to the probably the first thing you guys saw a long time ago, and that was the before scene going underneath the railroad. And I didn't like the way the road was pretty flat, and then all of a sudden it was going downhill real fast. So I decided that I would tear it apart, and I got the construction equipment out. And of course, you know, that stuff is all powered by its whatever, and does a pretty good job of digging up the homosote. So here it is plastered in. Now, it turns out this is not plaster. This is the baseboard that you'd find in an industrial office or something like that. It's rubber. I cut it to width, and I mated it to this plaster. And this down in here may originally have been cardboard, but now it's plaster because I changed all of this area here. And on the right-hand side, why I put some paint on it so I could see the imperfections that needed to be worked on. And I think, Doug, you may have been the one who was talking about, I really should put some gutters on the side.
Gutters or drainage, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. So I did. And over in this area right here is quite a hole, because that's where the rod comes up to operate a turnout above the bridge. Oh, backing up a minute about, remember we talked about the bridge because it was not a true straight bridge. It was a V type, and you brought it up that, in fact, up in Mason City, the MNCNL actually had one like that.
Exactly, yes. It had 2 turnouts plus a crossing, so that the track coming back the other way could curve into the water treatment plant.
So
So-
accidentally, I found something that I may have been right when I thought I was wrong, or wrong when I thought I
Yeah.
was right, or something like
Yep.
that.
Yep, you did good after all.
All right, so here we've taken care of this. So there's the road going under the railroad as it looks today. There's that one cow there that still likes to look over and see what's going on.
Mhm.
I've added some more the taller grasses and things, and there'll be a little bit more added to this before it's all done. And you can see the gutter a little plainer. It's kind of black down in that area.
Yep.
Well, it's very effective there, Ron. Very effective. It really worked
Yes.
out nicely. Can
Yeah,
I
now
just
it-
add one thing, one other comment?
Yes.
No, I've got a bridge that dips down like that. And I'm looking around for some decals that yellow and black decals kind of on an angle. So it kind of warns drivers that they should be careful, like like warnings, hash marks.
If I remember tomorrow, I will send you a picture of, it is not in here tonight, but I'll send you a picture of what I did. I don't remember where I bought them. I think they were decals. They were white decals that I put on the plaster on the side. All of this stuff is plaster, by the way. Everything there is plaster. That obviously is plastic.
This is bullshit. This is actually the same as.
So I was looking for a color of roads, and you guys can tell me what you think. I think the road to the right may be concrete, whereas the road to the left, I'm sorry, the road to the right may be concrete, the road to the left may be asphalt. Just because of the little darker in color.
Who's gonna call you a liar?
I don't know, I'm waiting.
As-
Not
as-
me.
Asphalt won't have
Well,
any.
I'd say
joint
that's right.
lines. You won't see any joint lines in in asphalt. So,
True, unfortunately, we really don't see any joint lines here at all, so. But you notice
I
notice.
do in both pictures.
Oh, well, then your eyes are better. You know, I do need my cataracts taken care of. Anyway, you can see the difference in the middle of the lane where it
Yep.
is a little darker than where the wheels run. Same in both pictures. And that was the other thing I was really looking for more than anything was what do you do in the middle of the lane?
You smear a little black chalk or dark gray chalk
Yeah, well, we'll
with
get
your
to that.
finger.
We're going to get to that coming up here. So this is the other side of the bridge. And
See that low boy with those round concrete pipes would have never made under your old underpass. You had too steep of a.
you know what, it not only wouldn't make it under the underpass, it won't make it over those rough crossings that have that are too high, too rounding. So you can see here some really expensive trucks here.
Yep.
So I started to tear some of this apart. Some of you may recognize the old greenhouse that I've really never done anything with. It's still someday we'll have a before and after on that. So here's how I usually do the roads. So I usually do a 24-foot road, be a 12-foot lane. And I make the panels 10 foot, and I've got that little piece of plastic that I can draw my my mark with. For the center line in Iowa, back in the 50s, almost all the roads were concrete and had black center lines. Now that changed, of course, to white, but back, 59, probably good in black. And
Yeah.
go ahead.
They also had curbs.
If I remember, I'll show you that tomorrow.
Okay.
No curbs on this tonight. So anyway, of course, I make the center line first, and then I make the cross pieces. I was cutting with that knife, and then I decided, it's just an optical illusion anyway. The pencil, number 2 pencil works just as good. So everything now is just marked with a pencil.
Sure. Mhm.
So although I didn't use any brown, I used just regular old school chalk. There's nothing exciting about that chalk. And on the right, you can see that I've rubbed the chalk on the road. And let's see. Do you guys see a paper towel on the right? I can't because I see your faces.
I do.
Okay, wait a minute, maybe this one will. Oh, okay, there's the one I really want to show you here. Then I rub it with a paper towel to rub off as much of that as I can. And you can't rub it all off. There's just no way you can rub it all off. So it makes that light or that darker brown area. Now on the right here, there's a white area, and I'll show you that a little bit more later on here, because this is really a 1-lane bridge. So if you have a 1-lane bridge, you really almost need to have a traffic light. So another couple pictures of the finished one on both sides.
Would you have had a traffic light in the 50s? Or would it just been a warning to watch out for oncoming vehicles or oncoming traffic?
Mm.
A friend of mine just gave me a picture of a 1-lane bridge down below where we live. And everybody just had to stop, be patient, let somebody, as soon as they cleared the bridge, then you could go.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Most of the rural areas in Iowa with 1-lane bridges, it's just kind of make sure that it's clear, watch out for the traffic type of situation.
Okay, here's where I say it's my layout.
Oh, you're gonna pull that one already on us?
Okay, bear with me. We're gonna put traffic lights in.
I like the idea of the traffic light.
I don't know if you ever, Doug, you were ever in Toledo, but the traffic light up there was interesting because it had like on one direction, the red was on the top, green was on the bottom, of course, yellow in the middle. But if you went the other way around, the green was on the top and the red was on the bottom. So, so if the red light was on for the one direction, it was green the other way, because that's, that's the way they did
And if you can't convince them, confuse them.
it. Hey, let me tell you, it did confuse a lot of people, because if you're colorblind, that you wouldn't always know whether it was go or not. So I put in a brass pipe in, and the reason I put the hole, that's just the hole in the layout, and there's the brass pipe. I put a little piece of tissue paper in here so that when I glued it in, I would not fill up the hole in the pipe. And here's the traffic light that I got, and here's what this looks like. I put a couple of posts in here so people wouldn't hit it. And somebody said right away, "Are you sure that car can get by there?" And I said, "Yeah, I think it can." So
Yeah,
I've been using 6-volt lantern battery. I had a lantern for a railroad lantern, the 6-volt lanterns.
Mhm.
And I decided there was no reason to leave that battery in the lantern. So I took it out and I attached a 1,000-ohm resistor, and the lights seem to work pretty good. They haven't been burned out yet. So there they are on. Now, of course, you'll notice I don't have any tail lights. So I'm not sure I'm going to do anything with it. I probably won't leave the lights off in the room. But I do have a little device that came with these traffic lights. It's a little printed circuit thing with absolutely no documentation, but it looks like it's got enough leads on it. And I don't know why you would do something like this unless it has some way to flip-flop the lights. So I tried it out the other day with that 1,000-ohm resistor, and I don't get anything, no lights through it. So I got a feeling that 6 volts is probably too much resistance. And since I don't know anything about it, there may actually be a resistor on that little printed circuit board.
Did you try reversing the polarity?
Well, that's a good idea. I never tried that, but it did say on the printed circuit board plus and minus, and that's how I hooked it up to the battery. Of course, that might not mean anything because it was probably made in China. I will try that before I change out to I was thinking I'd go to about a 900, or not 900, about a 600 ohm resistor next, and then continue to go down until I finally blow it up and throw it away.
Well, different color LEDs have different dropping voltage, but 6 volts with 1,000 ohms should fire up any of them.
Yeah, of course, the resistance at 1,000 ohms pretty heavy for 6 volts. A lot of people use 1,000 ohm for the 12 volt on your track. So
Okay.
here's
Ron, I want to back up. I want to back up for a second, back to your highway. I just looked up because I thought 24 feet was too wide for the 50s.
it
And
is.
I'm going to quote from a document I just found. At the close of 1955, half of Iowa's paved roads were 25 years old or older, 18 feet wide. They began an experiment in 1953 to add 3 feet of concrete on each side of the road. And they widened Highway 65 between Mason City and Manly to a 22-foot wide pavement. So your highways really should be about 18 feet wide with the curb, so you had 8.5-foot driving space because the curb took up 6 inches. And I remember this well because when I learned to drive, that's where my mother took me, was on one of them highways so I could keep the car straight.
Well, Doug, it turns out I actually know what you're saying because I too had looked it up. But
Okay.
I had already made the road that wide. So that's why it's that wide. But one of the guys that was in the Northwestern Society down in Cedar Rapids, why he was with the road commission back in those days, and I queried him on what, a lot of things, including guardrails and so forth. So I found out a few things about it, and you're absolutely right. And I can tell you Highway 30 in about 1950 was widened 2 feet in order to make the new dimension. I think that's right, 2 feet, because it was what you just said. Help me out here.
18 feet wide.
18, and they
Widen.
put it on each side 2 foot, 4 more feet, which would
Yeah.
be, which I think was right. And they
Yep.
actually left they just dug a trench right along there and put concrete along the edge of it, and then they concreted over the top of it.
Yep. And then years later, they came through again and they dug a trench and they put in drainage tile so that that widened area wouldn't be undermined by excess water. And they widened it out again. That's, I think, where we got to the 24 with the 12-foot lanes. So,
Yeah. The other thing they did when they went to that in the 50s or early 50s, they got rid of the curb on Highway 30 through Tama.
yep.
That was
Yeah.
always people were you have wrecks on it by losing control of their car and things. And the trucks, the big trucks, a lot of times were riding on that thing all the time. Especially when they
Yes,
met
yep.
another big truck.
Hmm. Yeah, they didn't want to lose their mirrors, so they moved over.
Yeah. So we'll talk about pastures for a minute here. So up at the top, you see the before. And Broken Windmill's been that way for about 10 years. Down below it, I tried making cow pies. Now that's on a diorama. I really don't think I like my cow pies there. First of all, I judge the size of the cow pie by the critter. I think that's too big a cow pie.
Have you
So
ever
on-
gone out to measure one?
So on the right, you see a couple of little places that's a little greener. That's where I tried to make some cow pie. And then I said, you know what? I think an HO will forget about it. Anyway, I fixed the windmill and added some more trees. You know, you can never get enough trees. It really makes a lot of difference in your scene, doesn't it?
Yes.
I got some teak sawdust from a place here in Manitowoc that builds luxury boats. And boy, does that make great cow pies. You know, you just kind of take a little pinch of that stuff and, like kind of rub your fingers together and it comes down, and then you put a little glue on there. And boy, I'm real satisfied with the look of that, especially the teak sawdust.
Yeah,
I
that would
was-
give you a good look for a modern, current one. But if you want the really old weathered one, you gotta go with a gray.
Yeah, they turn gray all right. They're not near as bad when you step on them when they're gray.
Yeah.
How about a cow
And when you
pie
step on
tossing?
them, oh,
I was going to tell you about the fence. Now, the fence is made with finishing nails, and I'm not sure, somebody didn't tell me they're just a little bit too big, too thick for, and obviously steel posts are not round. And I don't
No.
know that anybody makes a very economical steel post. I think there's some made, but they're pretty expensive.
there's a company that's doing 3D printing that was selling a machine for running barbed wire, and they had the T-shaped metal steel posts as part of their kit. And I think they offered the T-shaped steel post as a secondary. And it's something Dimensions. I can't remember the name of the company, but they are out there and they're sold.
2 years ago, they were in Collinsville, but they were not there this year. I don't think they were there
True.
this year. Yeah.
No, they were
Why?
not. Yeah.
So maybe they went out of business already. Anyway, it was really nice stuff. I saw their operation and I thought, boy, that's really great. All right, so we'll move over here to the garage area. So when we were in Griffith the other day, I bought some lights. So I decided I was going to put some lights in it. Of course, I already had the building built, and I did not put any kind of, no way to put lights in it. So this is how I put lights in. I thought I would talk about a little bit if somebody else wanted to put some lights in. The guy that makes these LEDs, they have a nice long lead on them, and they have a shell, what do I want to say? Come on, help me here. Cover over the top so they look a bonnet so that they look just like a light would look, not just a plain LED sticking out. So the first thing I did was I saw what kind of interior detail I was going to use, and I decided I wanted this over the workbench. So the picture on the right, you can see the hole drilled, and you can see the copper tube. I always like to put a little fingernail polish on the end of that copper tube so that it kind of insulates the wires when that can get pretty cutting on the edge of those. So this is what it looks like when it was done. And you can see I did change the bench to a different bench. And then I decided, what am I going to do for something laying on the bench? And I looked around and there was a piece of railroad stuff. And I thought, that probably looks good enough. So that's what's inside there. I noticed this after I put this together that looks like some of the paint is chipped off. I may have to do something with that. So, okay, the wires all come down. They're sticking out over here on the side. And I'm attaching them to a little terminal board in case I want to take this off to do anything with it. Now there was lights on the top of this, which I did not change. They are still the dummy lights. So this is what the whole thing looked like before. And I don't know that Jim is with us today. Jim, are you out there, Jim? Guess not. He told me, huh? Jim said,
No, there's not a gym.
that tank there is just a little bit big for that small of a station.
Oh, yeah, he was complaining it was too close.
Too big, too close. Then somebody said, well, the problem is those are not Amoco pumps. So then, of course, I had to try to get rid of the Amoco sign off of it. So I'll show you how that goes here as we get along. Oh, this was the JL Innovations O'Leary Garage. The guy who gave it to me was named Baker. All right. So I went on the internet and I looked and looked and looked, and I finally found this guy sitting at a desk with a light bulb over, and I copied it out. And there really is almost nothing done to it. It just copied on a piece of paper. And I found out in my case it is 1.5 inches high. And the things I have to work with, I can actually measure 1.5 inches, so I can print it that way. Down below it is what the interior of the garage was. And because everything was all built and I didn't want to glue it in, I put it on a little piece of plastic, and then I just shoved the plastic in there. And over to the right, we see the Packard, and below it, there's the gas station interior. I don't like the fact there's a window here, but if you really got to look down hard to find out that window. You see it, but not when it's in the building.
Yeah.
You could have pasted a poster over that,
Uh,
a calendar or something.
the problem was I didn't call you first.
Yeah, because I'm also looking at the guy with the light bulb, and that's a computer sitting on his desk.
Yes, but it's an early one.
Yeah, but it's still.
We had
Is he
one of
the one
those in
that-
about the 80s.
Is he the
Right.
one that invented the computer?
Must be.
That's the perfect place to do it.
Steve Jobs traded it for a car.
Right.
Yeah.
So the dealer is a Packard and Hudson dealer, okay? So I try to model 59. Of course, I am not pure. And the end result is this Packard is not a 59. It's earlier than a 59. So I'm gonna
So
tell you,
he's got a used one.
in a new car sales. But you know, you can't believe how much trouble I had trying to make these two colors. I don't even know how to. I'm still. It is not good, but it's inside the building, and so I guess it's okay. At least
What
that's
two
the way
colors?
I'm going to leave it. What colors?
Yeah, what two colors are we talking about?
The white top and the clear windows and
Oh, on the
red
car.
bottom. Yeah, and then the tires have white walls. I hand painted those white walls.
Nice.
Well, I'll just leave it. I hand painted them. Okay, so here's another picture of it. But when I was in Amesy here this summer, I picked up this hard chrome at 1330, and that's what I used on the chrome pieces here.
Mhm.
The picture does not really do it justice. You can see it better on the bumpers. I was really amazed at how nice that is. That is just like chrome. So if you want to do chrome, try to find this hard chrome package.
I've been using a silver magic marker.
Yeah, I did too till I got this. Of course, you know what's going to happen. I did the classic car here, okay. The next time I go to use that chrome, it'll be dried up.
Yeah.
So for 1330, I got one car done. So this is what the interior, I made a box for the interior.
Mhm.
And so then the next one will show it with the wires out the back. That way I could hook them into that terminal block. And it looks like this with the
Nice.
clear sign. And
Yep. Yeah. Nice. Mhm. Did you just, do you have the Amoco sign out hiding in the back as a discarded because they just changed dealership, brand or something?
Yeah.
I would have loved to have done that, but by the time I was done with that, because it was a decal and on there was nothing left of it,
Oh,
Yeah.
which caused me an awful job trying to match the colors, because when I was done with this area here, man, that thing didn't look anything like this over here. And we worked, and my wife helped me, and we worked and matched and did all kinds of things. Here's a little error in my ways here. When I put this roof on, for whatever reason, it may have been the kit may have said to do this. This piece here was a separate piece, and this has got bent. And I can't find, this is metal. I can't find a way to do anything better than that. But if you were here, you could see it. As it is in the picture, you can't see it very well. So remember, we had the tank over here. So now I got underground tanks.
mm,
There you go.
So here's my Hudsons. So we're getting a load of new Hudsons, of course. In 59, Hudson wasn't really around anymore.
mhm.
And so I bought a Hudson at a great amount. I don't remember. It was very expensive. And then Dwayne said to me, "Oh, I'll give you that one." Oh, then somebody said, "Oh, I got two of them. I'll sell you two of them for the price that you paid the other one for." So I bought them all. I thought three of them would be a good truckload.
Mhm.
So here's the overall scene. You can look at everything here. And I got a guy changing the tire down here. Got some trailers sitting over here where the tank was. Better cars than the plastic ones that you guys saw a long time ago that you had, and this truck something will happen to this truck. It is not going to remain white like that. But it's the way it is at the moment. So, I'm all for any thing that you would see that I probably won't do, but
I like the tires laying around and all the junk. That looks good. Now
I
you
did-
might want to run a piece of thread across there so that the bell rings when a car comes in for gas, right?
That's very
Yes,
good.
yes.
That's very good. That would be easy to do yet. I could still do that.
Right.
This
Yep.
is a traffic light. Of course, the first thing somebody said, yeah, but that traffic light is about a 90s traffic light. And they're right. They're right. They're right. I'm not sure there's another picture.
Would your gas station have some lighting for when you're doing fill-ups in the evening? A couple street lights on a post or something?
Well, that's what was there. Now, the problem I have is well, how do I get back to where I was the last standby?
Just scroll down on the one side and,
See the light here?
yeah,
Okay, there's another light over in this area here that you don't see. That's why this is lighter here.
mhm.
But really what ought to happen is you see up here in the top, there's
Mm.
two here, there's
Mhm.
two here and two here. If I was really energetic, I would take those off and put the same kind in that I put on the inside,
Ah,
but I probably won't do that.
Yeah, that'd be tough.
I
Was
think
it John Allen that put a mirror inside the gas or the auto dealer, so it looked like there were more than one cars in there?
No.
And then paint the other side of the car a different color.
it might have been him or some, yeah. There were people who did things like that.
But Ron, are you one?
well, if I remember tomorrow, I'll show you my mirror picture. You gotta stay tuned and see if I remember all this stuff.
John Allen took he took one car, painted 4 quarter panels, different colors, used mirrors, and made it into 4 cars.
Wow.
Yeah, he was nuts.
And we aren't.
No, not quite.
So Ron, does your garage have a vehicle lift?
Not this one, but if I remember tomorrow, I'll show you one.
A hobby shop up in Green Bay did one of those, like a lift, car lift like that. And I'm gonna ask him, we're gonna be up there tomorrow. I'm gonna ask him if it was manufactured or he cobbled that together himself. 'Cause
I'll
that'd
tell
be
you
a
what,
nice, it was a nice touch. It worked nicely.
it would have been ideal to put a car lift right here.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I'm
I-
trying to think, was it SS Limited or somebody like that had one at one time? Long
Well,
time ago?
A lot of them back in the 50s were outside.
Yeah, they were. And to
That's-
replicate it, you could use a couple pieces of plastruck channel and a cross beam and just have it laying on the ground. You wouldn't have to have it up in the air.
The one you'll see tomorrow is up in the air. Unfortunately, it has got tilted. So I'll tell you ahead of time, so you don't need to tell me the thing is tilted and the car is going to fall off.
In the 1950s, would that have been a hydraulic?
Probably would be. Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember any of them that weren't oil. They might have been oil or air pressure cylinders.
Mhm.
I don't remember any that were cable. There might have been some real old ones that were cable though.
Well, an old garage like that might still have the cable one. They wouldn't want to spend the money to upgrade.
Yeah, that could be. That would require, of course, you could build that and then set it in there. But that would require a framework overhead too. Interesting. I've showed everybody my, what I did, so if anybody has anything else, why, we can talk about, otherwise I guess I'm done tonight.
That looks very nice, Ron.
Nice
Great
job, Ron.
Yeah, very enjoyable. So,
I got just the place for that gas station on my railroad.
Yeah.
Well, if you can wait a few years, you can probably come down, I'm right in the middle of this Don's estate sale. If you wait just a few years, you'll probably find this on an estate sale right here.
I bet I'll beat you to it.
Don't do that. Don't, we're not running a race.
That's right. That's right. Well, great job, Ron. Thank you. We have Clark Probst up next week. He is going to tell us about his Decker's meatpacking plant. So that'll be at 5:30 as we did this week, and we'll look forward to that. This recording will be up probably later this evening. And Ron, great job. Thanks for doing that. If you're interested in presenting a course, we're always looking for presenters after next week. We're open. And so if you got a project going and you want to make a presentation, just let Ron or me know and we'll put you on the schedule.
Good enough.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a nice night.
Good job,
Good
Ron.
night.
thank you,
Bye,
Ron.
everybody.
Bye.
Good job,
Thanks,
Ron.
Ron.
Thanks.